They care about the points, the titles, the rings, the moments. It's not going to be as easy for Giannis in Milwaukee. You could go down to Miami. Pat Riley's got 10 titles. He's now in his 18th conference championship as a coach, player, executive. Spoelstra's got 2. You got Aqua Water in the winter, a great free agent market. It's a plug and compete for championships for 8-year city because they've done it a bunch. It's not that Giannis doesn't want to work hard. It's not that Dame doesn't want to work hard. You can be a popular anchor in Kansas City, Indianapolis, and Memphis. That's a good life. But if you're an MVP, 2-time MVP, you don't get bonus points for struggling. Make your life easier. That's why I've never resented people in my industry that are really, really talented and they had famous dads as broadcasters. Hell, if I did, I'd have taken the advantage. My dad was an optometrist. I mean, I didn't want to be a doctor. But if my dad was a sportscaster and I got a network gig because I worked really hard and maybe, some connections helped me a little bit, not saying those guys wouldn't get there anyway, but I would have taken it. It'd be stupid not to. Take the easier route if it's offered. Don't be stubborn and rigid. It's this puritanical American thing like, I've got to work hard. Most people work hard. But if somebody opens a door for you, take it. Aqua Water, free agent market, Pat Riley, Eric Spoelstra, Jimmy Butler, history of titles. That's where I'd go. Wouldn't be that tough. Let me talk... Rick's ready. So I'll go to him before I get to my Russell Wilson stuff. I have a rule on this show. Can't go a week without a Russell Wilson topic. But let's go to Ric Bucher, Fox Sports NBA analyst, and joining us via the Coward Global Satellite Network. It's funny about this. I never banged on Kevin Durant when he made his life easier. He had worked his butt off at Texas, his butt off in high school, his butt off in Oklahoma City. He got tired of playing with Westbrook. He wanted to play with Clay and Steph. Giannis should leave, right? Miami's plugging titles, right? I'm not crazy on this, right?
I am praying, Colin. I am praying that Giannis Antetokounmpo does not hear a word of what you're saying, or if he does, that he dismisses it out of hand. You were talking about, I don't even know where to start. First of all, the whole American puritanical approach, take the easy way. Okay, that might apply to Americans, but Giannis Antetokounmpo is not. He had to take a hard route to get here, and taking that hard route brought him to a place that he never dreamed of being. So if we look at everything that he has said and done, there is no question that he's going to stay in Milwaukee. He would have to do a complete 180 in order to go someplace else. And this is where I think you're 1,000% wrong. Is that right now, because of KD and LeBron and Kawhi all taking the easy route, there is a crying need, a starvation among basketball fans to have a Dame Lillard who actually is capable of winning a championship. And Giannis Antetokounmpo is that. Dame Lillard is maxing out what he's capable of. He's still going to need help around him. Giannis simply needs to get better. The issue is not Milwaukee. It's not the market. It's Giannis Antetokounmpo needs to develop his game to the point where he can be that guy that leads a team to a championship. We had this debate, brought up elsewhere about is he a Jordan or a Pippen? Well, skill-wise, talent-wise, ability-wise, he's a Scottie Pippen right now. But from those that have coached him that I've spoken to, he has a Jordan mindset. He's not afraid to take the shot with the game on the line. He's not afraid to be a closer. He simply needs to develop the skill set that allows him to do that. But if you look at LeBron James and his championship in Cleveland versus the 2 that he got in Miami, or whatever else he did in Miami, the one in Cleveland is the one that cemented his legacy and in my mind means more than the 2 that he got in Miami or anything that he would get in LA.
Well, we have a difference of opinion. If that door opens for me, I just walk through
I understand, because you're an American. Because you're an American, Colin, and you're into commerce. You're into transaction.
Yes.
Giannis is more of just a from the heart, I'm fortunate. I'm an immigrant that has this NBA team that decided to take a chance on me and made me their superstar. And the gratitude that he has. I mean, look, Dirk Nowitzki, did he ever go anywhere? No. Pau Gasol, did he ever go anywhere? No, not until Memphis decided, you know what, we're done. We're ready to move on. We'll trade you. Marc Gasol, never. If you look at international players that have had teams that have said, you're our guy and we will build around you, their gratitude is different than the guys who grew up playing AAU here who are just used to, hey, where are the best players? Where's the best team? That's where I'm going.
Yeah. Well, I guess my heart's not big enough. All right. So, Jay, if we cared about points, I would spend my whole show talking about Karl Malone. But I talk about Michael and LeBron and Shaq. I talk about titles. Mm-hmm. James Harden, once again, appears somewhat disengaged in the biggest moment of the season for Houston. And I'm just over being told how, he's this, he's the MVP, he's the next this, he's the next that. 3 meaningful shots late. LeBron's in year 17. He's blocking shots like a rookie, passing, yelling, coaching. I don't want any more excuses. Harden, to me, looked disengaged at times in the fourth quarter. Is that unfair?
It's not unfair, and this is what I struggle with James, is that trapping him and forcing the ball out of his hands is the easiest way to end his involvement. And if you watch LeBron, if you watch some of the best players when they are double teamed, yes, they give up the ball and then they move without the ball and make hard cuts, either to get the ball back or to still shift the defense toward them to create something for somebody else. James approaches it, oh, you're going to double me? Okay, I guess I got to let somebody else do the work, and doesn't continue to try to exploit the defense. And that's my issue. Now, it may be just a fatigue thing. He's got to do so much when he's got the ball in his hands that he can't do that and play off the ball. But that, to me, is the heart of the issue here, and why I had the Lakers initially winning this series in 5, because the Rockets are fairly simple to figure out and to have that element that is going to diffuse what makes them special. And primarily, it's doubling James Harden, because once you get the ball out of his hands, he doesn't do a whole lot of work after that.
It's interesting. I've watched every team multiple times in the bubble. I think there's 7 good teams, not special. 1 that's occasionally special, but briefly the Clippers. Are you bothered at all that they can't put back-to-back great performances together? I mean, it's just been this way the whole entire bubble.
They're like a strobe light. Like every once in a while they flash and go, "Ooh, boy, that's great," and then it's off again. They flip the switch and then they flip it off again and then they flip it on again. Yes, no, that it concerns me, because talent-wise, if I look at all of the rudiments of that team, they are the team to beat.
Yes.
And they should beat decisively. But they are their own worst enemy, because they play one game and they prove it, and then they downshift again. And the endurance, the mental endurance of playing hard for 48 minutes and doing it game after game, I've never seen a team that wins a championship that isn't capable of that. And I've been waiting. Like during the regular season, okay, I get it. But at some point you have to turn that switch and you have to stay in that mode. And we still haven't seen it. Some of it, obviously, is that Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell were late getting to the bubble for a variety of reasons. They haven't looked nearly the same. But I'm just not seeing the necessary intensity quarter by quarter, game by game. And yes, it's a bad habit. Developing the mental toughness to stay stuck in when things get hard, no matter what, is a muscle that you develop. And the Clippers have not developed it or not demonstrated that they have that muscle yet.
Good. So I think we're done there. That was very good. I feel very good about that.
Your heart is not that small. You're not the Grinch. It's not that small. But let Giannis stay in Milwaukee. Let a small market win a championship. If he does that, if he wins one in Milwaukee, it would mean more than going any place else and winning 3.
Oh, give me a break on this small market. Didn't Spurs dominated the league for 15 years?
Yeah. And does anybody question the heartfelt love for Tim Duncan? Does anybody like Manu Ginobili, Tim Duncan? There's no dispute about them. They have a place in not just